Special thanks to these companies for being long-term partners of this channel.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Zach. Here we talk about overlanding and tech, and today is the last video in my platform build series, and I'm excited to show you kind of how I will set up the platform for taking trips and some of the extra functionality that I just kind of wanted to show off with my actual gear inside the truck. So if you've enjoyed this build series this far, or if this is the first video that you're seeing in the series, go check out my other build videos because maybe they can help you in designing your own platform. So just to give kind of an overview of this, basically the whole entire drawer system sits in the rear of the trunk. The middle seats can fold up anytime that you would like. And then when you want to sort of deploy the actual sleeping platform, it's a segment that you pull out from the front of the drawer system towards the front seats of the vehicle. So again, if you hadn't seen the previous videos, that's kind of how it works. And so yeah, let's just kind of jump right into showing you around it, and we'll move here to the back. So the big thing that I really wanted to do was preserve as much headspace inside of here as I could, but there's always a trade-off, because if you want more headspace, then you're going to take away from storage space. And while 4Runners may seem fairly large as far as an SUV goes, they're definitely not very storage heavy. A lot of people kind of complain about this. Now I think Wranglers might have even less than 4Runners, but as far as most other SUVs, 4Runners don't have a ton of space. So I decided to build a drawer that was the height of the plastic wheel wells on the sides. And so that's kind of where I went with the sizing. Additionally, if you do close the trunk, so there's a couple things that I kind of took into account, but they weren't top of my priority list, but this design ended up working perfectly. So with this 6-inch memory foam mattress that I have and this duvet comforter, there's still plenty of space within to sleep. And I do like that it is still lower than this rear window. So if you did want to, you know, say add anything out this window, or you wanted to put a rear trunk tent on or anything like that, it's really nice that this is almost flush. Additionally, a lot of people really like to run rear window MOLLE panels, and that's something that I'm kind of interested in adding in the future. And from what I can tell, this does go low enough where you can use these different mounting points for the MOLLE panels on the side windows. So I think this whole design will be completely compatible. If it is going to be a little close, you could obviously always go with like a 4-inch mattress. So that was one thing that I really liked about this as far as being a sleeping platform. So another thing that I really wanted to make sure I had was an insert for this drawer. So this drawer is weight bearing. So these drawer slides were rated on Amazon for 400 pounds. I think they kind of lied. I'm not quite sure if they actually support that much weight. One of my buddies recommended adding a second drawer slide, and I think that's a really good idea. So that's something that I'm going to do down the road. Hey everyone, Future Zach here. So in order to be a little transparent about building this platform, I have been waiting to release this part 4 because I actually wanted to make a change to the platform design. So those previous slides that I thought you could run that would maybe save you some money, I don't really think are working very well. They're kind of cheap, they don't hold weight very well, and I even think we might need to add a couple more studs in here. So I just wanted to kind of wait and add these and show you how I'm going to add them, so that, you know, some of you out there who are following along because you want to build this platform don't end up building what I previously had described and then you're frustrated and it doesn't work right. So I want it to be done right, and I want to be transparent about what I'm doing with it. So I'm just going to kind of talk you through how I'm going to put these on. Hopefully these will fit in the same footprint as my previous slides. My previous slides had a little bit of give on the side, so I'm hoping with this size, these are slightly thicker, it's going to fit just perfectly. So let's jump into it. Okay, so I just want to kind of explain the next stage in this process. So I bought a 4-pack of this aluminum extrusions. It comes in like 5.9 inches, so I had to trim it down just a little bit to 5.75 inches. So I've just got an aluminum blade on my miter saw here. And then what we're going to do is, since a lot of it's already assembled, I'm going to have to use these brackets instead of the other low profile ones, because these ones can sit on the top and I don't have to worry about running them through the track. So we're going to use 4 of these per each extra stud. I'm going to use these slide-in T-nuts on the parts where I can actually access this T-channel. And then, just in case I had this sort of issue, I bought a few of these spring T-nuts. So on the actual platform, I'll push these in and they'll pop into the T-channel properly and I won't have to actually disassemble anything. So we've got all of those, and so I just need to start assembling this. And I'm going to assemble this with blue Loctite so that hopefully these hold really well and they won't vibrate out of place. I'm hoping this is just going to help with longevity and keeping the drawer system quiet. So, and also I'll just mention, don't forget, we're going to have to drop one T-nut in here so that we can attach the slide of the drawer to this stud. So once you mount it up, you want to make sure that that T-nut's already in there so you can lift it up and put the screw in for your piece of slide. So that's what we're gonna do. I need to assemble all these and then we'll move to the next thing.
Okay, so I got everything assembled, and here's just a little look at putting these new slides on. So they are absolutely ginormous compared to the other ones. And I actually had to space out the frame slightly. You can see that. So it doesn't quite fit exactly how I like. But I'm okay with it actually, because now I can slide T-nuts in. So it worked out, but this new slide works amazing. The drawer doesn't go anywhere. It'll support like basically me sitting on it. It's such a strong drawer slide. So I'll have these linked down below, these new drawer slides. But as you can see too, I did these little angle mounts on the top and the bottom. And this is the old way where there's just a little angle inside of the T-channel. Another thing you'll notice here is too, I have like way more studs now. So instead of having 2 studs, we have 4 studs, and they're spaced just basically because these are convenient holes on the drawer slide. So, and then if we look on the inside of the drawer slide, I just put a screw through one of those holes and use some small, these screws are a little bit small for the holes on these drawer slides, and so I put some blue Loctite on the screw and then I just sent it through with a small washer. So now with this new slide, I have these little locking things, which honestly, they're still really handy, because if you want to lock the drawer completely out, if your car is at an angle or something, these will help your drawer from sliding in or sliding out. And so it's really nice. I have to do kind of this interesting little shimmy so that I can open this and these 2 on the sides, because I don't have 3 arms. But this still at least allows me to lock it. If you are building this and you're using these 2 locking slides, I would say probably just don't put a handle in like this and just put a normal pull handle on it. But that's obviously up for you to decide what you want to do. So, but this drawer is working fantastic, and I'm really happy. Another pro tip I'll provide is use a really nice set of these Allen wrenches. So I got this Allen key set, and these are like black oxide or something like that, and they're really sturdy. I had these small like folding Stanley ones, and these work well too, but sometimes the angles with aluminum extrusions, you just need a small little tool. And so these are super strong. They don't, you know, basically round out that little point. They don't round out like on the really cheap Allen wrenches that come with the hardware. And so I went back through and I tightened everything down with one of these, and it worked so well.
But I wanted this drawer to be really heavy duty because I added this insert, and I've shown in a previous video how to do this, but this insert is super nice for a working surface. And I have some extra gear here up front, so it's very easy to access. I don't have to pull the drawer all the way out to get to it, but the sliding portion is all the way to the front. So if I wanted to move this all the way up, I could, and then it's a really nice working surface for camping or cooking or whatever you want it for. So that's the one reason that I really like having one large drawer in the trunk, is when you pull it out, it can really be treated like a standing sort of countertop space. Well, this maybe isn't super important for some of you. I did build this on a piece of plywood that's entirely removable. I wanted to still have this be something that I could drop in or take out of the vehicle, because it's really helpful to have the ability to completely remove this if I need the entire trunk of my vehicle for moving some sort of furniture or something like that. So this isn't a permanent bolted in solution. You can definitely still remove this entire system. And so that's where you can see the front has bolted locations, but then in the rear, I've got these two large turnbuckles that just help to anchor this in the trunk. I also really enjoy just having this space open because then I have access to the rear inverter, and then it's also just nice storage space on the sides. All right, so now we're standing on the side, and a lot of people ask me, like, how do you get into the bed? And I know a lot of people get in from the rear and then they try and figure out a way to close it. I've always actually gotten in from the side, and I don't know if that's like a really weird thing, but that's typically how I get in. I get in and then I just turn around in the bed and lay down. But obviously you're free to do whatever you would like. This is about how far up the bed comes. So, and I just put my battery in here to give a perspective of how much space is under the platform. But this battery is quite wide. If you haven't seen the review I did on this battery, I absolutely love it. And so I set this under the bed because then I could plug my phone in and run the cable up if I want to sort of charge my phone during the night or whatever it may be. So it's really nice to have this extra space below. Not to mention, I could probably fit like 8 or 9 of these batteries under the platform. So there's quite a bit of storage space under there. And if you're trying to find sort of a platform solution that adds a bunch of additional space, this is really nice because you can store, you know, a ground tent, some sort of canopy you might want to set up, camping chairs, all kinds of stuff will fit under here, duffel bags, whatever you would need to store. There's lots of space under there. So that's one thing I really like about this design from my previous design. There's just so much additional space. Just to give kind of a demonstration that this will fit under the platform. The battery is still on the other side and I can push this chair all the way in. So there's ample space, and it's just nice to be able to store all of this stuff inside of the truck without having to have like a large ski box or something on the roof. And one thing I want to mention is my wife is shorter than me, and right now with the current bed length, it's a little bit short for me. The window space on the 4Runner helps because since this bed is flush with that rear window, it adds like an additional inch or 2 on the back by having the window trim area like this. So on the side here, I move this seat up probably an additional 4 or 5 inches, and then I'm just gonna stuff a pillow in that gap. And I think it should work great to add some additional length on my side. So while this portion isn't directly related to the aluminum extrusion platform, I just want to show you this dog platform I've built because there's nothing like it that I've seen on YouTube. And if some people have a dog, depending upon the size, this might be a perfect option for you. So I'm going to show you how I install that, and then you can kind of see if you would like to do a similar design on yours. So I just moved my seat a little bit forward because this is the side I sleep on. So I like to have a little more space. That leaves the driver's seat fully operational. So then once we move this forward a little bit, then I've built this little insert. It's got like arrows on the back to remind me how to orient it. But you just put that in the little opening, and then we insert this plywood piece. Now this is harder to give you dimensions for, but essentially what it does is this portion here sits on top of the armrest, and then it's cut out on the front along the front of the dash. And then this backside has little notches to fit on the armrest on the door. So it's gonna be pushing in and leaning on this portion around this handle. So I just slide this in here like this. It sets there. Come up to my door, orient it appropriately, and then give the door a slam. So I built this so that this seat could come pretty far forward. Depending upon what size dog you have, you may want to build this to go farther back. Otis, when he was smaller, slept here perfectly fine. If he's curled up in a ball, it seems to work okay, but he's about 65, closer to 70 pounds now. So I might need to extend this out a little bit so that he has a little more sleeping space up here. This is his kennel bed, which is I think an 18 by 36 inch mattress. And so, you know, just to kind of give you perspective on the sizing, it's pretty good size, honestly. And if you have a, you know, medium-sized dog, it'll work great. If you have a small dog, obviously it'll work great. And I like having this here because if my wife and I are wanting to sleep in the back, it's a full-size bed, which just isn't super large. And so there's no way Otis would fit back there with us two unless we're trying to not get any sleep that night. So up here works really nicely for having him sleep. So as you can see, it's not the biggest sleeping space for him, but I think if I move the seat back a little bit and build that platform a little bit larger, it'll work great for him. If he would maximize his space, I think he would fit back here, but dogs like to spread out, so I'll work on building that for him in the future. But this worked for him great. The previous trips I took when he was a little bit smaller, he's just approaching almost 2 years old, so he's been growing this whole time. So anyways, that's the dog platform. If you made it through the whole video, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot that you are willing to watch all of my content. If you have any questions about this build or you want to see the designs of it, I will be posting a detailed document outlining my designs on my website. And if you have any sort of questions about the build, feel free to comment that down below. I know a lot of people maybe ask, like, why would you sleep in the vehicle versus having a rooftop tent? But I just like to have the versatility of being able to sleep in the vehicle. A lot of times it's quieter because you can have everything closed up, or if there's really bad weather, you just feel a little bit safer. Additionally, it leaves my entire roof rack open for storage. So there's just a lot of flexibility, I find. And the reason that I designed this particular platform is I wanted to be able to keep the entire platform in my trunk. So if I wanted to, I could keep a sleeping bag and a sleeping pad or something in the rear of my vehicle in case I decided that I wanted to, you know, sleep somewhere at night or something like that. So I always have my sleeping platform along with me wherever I go, and I just wanted to have that flexibility. So with that being said, feel free to go check out my plans on my website. All of the materials I used to build this platform I have linked down below. And with that being said, consider subscribing because I love to do DIY content like this. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like because it really helps out the channel. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.